Okay, this one I'm gonna be doing. It's gonna be a Batman villain. It's gonna be Bane, the Anatomy of Bane, and why he wears that mask by Marvelous Movies. Go check out their channel. If you don't mind going on my channel, hitting the subscribe button, hitting the ding-a-ling for more notifications. And that being said, I like the Dark Knight Rises, the opening scene when Bane is on the airplane. They have him tied up, then he starts talking, and that was a good movie. Too bad. I like the Heath Ledger wasn't alive because the sequel to that would have been awesome. Well, anyways, I'm gonna start blabbering. Let's get into it.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? I was born in it, molded by it.
Bane Anatomy Explored. Hi, this is a.imusic and welcome to another marvellous video. A supervillain who could deduce Batman's real identity within 3 months and then went on to break on the Cape Crusaders' very back. Bane is known for his brute strength and cunning mind, but Bane's character is not that of some one-dimensional villain from an animated series episode. He's much more than that. Bane, like most major Batman villains, has a tragic backstory, and his formative years shaped him into the man he became. Much like Batman drew his strength from his sheer will, hard work, and resilience, Bane was a product of his own making, which was only exponentially enhanced by a drug named Venom, which Bane has to pump directly into his brain every 12 hours. While he may appear to be simply a hulk.
Okay, that being said, don't get me wrong. I like Tom. What's his name? Dude, fuck. I like the '90s Bane with George Clooney. That Bane. I forget. Was it Batman and Robin or something? Where he actually had the tubes. He actually had to have the venom pumped into him. He was a little scrawny dude. They tied him down. I liked how that was done, but they didn't do that with um Tom. What's his fucking name? Tom. Shit, I forget his name. The dude that played Venom and all that shit. I'll think of it. But he didn't have tubes going out of him. But I did like his mask. He was built, but he wasn't as big as the guy in the other movie.
Mass of muscle at first glance, a closer examination of Bane's anatomy reveals a fascinating and complex character, from the origins of his venom-enhanced muscles to the way his mind operates. There is a lot to explore when it comes to Bane's anatomy, so let's get started and explore the many facts
Tom Hardy. That's what I'm thinking of. Tom Hardy.
of this epic villain's physiology and psychology.
I learned here that there can be no true despair without hope. So, as I terrorize Gotham, I will
Before we
keep
go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thanks, and let's begin.
Do the same to my channel.
How did he become a Bane to everything holy? Bane's story started on the highly corrupt Caribbean island named Santa Prisca, which had some of the most despotic rules and the most corrupt government in the world. And trust me, it's a saga of cruelty, violence, and sheer madness. Something that's a staple with most Batman villains. Here, he would serve as a test subject for dangerous military testing. Bane himself asked for the procedure and defied all conventional logic, but was in line with his enormous ego. It was now that Bane was taken to a lab where he was administered with Venom, a prototype drug that had previously killed several other test subjects in a matter of seconds.
Bane was a member of the League of Shadows.
And then he was excommunicated. And any man who is too extreme for Ra's al Ghul.
Venom
Yeah, see that?
and its marvelous effects on human
That's what I'm talking about. That's the Bane I like. He had the venom pumped in and all that, but they didn't do that with Tom Holland or Tom Hardy.
body. Before I go further into how Bane's body reacted to Venom, let's just explore what the drug is. The drug first appeared in the comic titled Legends of the Dark Knight and was the driving force behind the Batman Venom story arc. In issue 17 of the 2006 comic titled JSA Classified, it was revealed that Rex Tyler's Bannerman Pharmaceuticals made the drug using the Miraclo formula. The scientist who created Venom was clearly not thinking enough because he practically made the drug from aggressive androgenic anabolic steroids, neurotransmitters. Now, an androgenic substance is basically a steroid hormone that enhances or regulates the male features in an animal or human, while anabolic substances control metabolic activity concerned and the biosynthesis of complex molecules. For convenience, let's just call these androgenic anabolic steroids AAS. Quite clearly, AAS are derivatives of testosterone that affects muscle mass, and steroids substantially accelerate the production of the same. But you should know that these things often have multiple side effects, and Marvelous Videos does not promote the use of such substances. Anyway, apart from AAS, Venom also had a central nervous system stimulant, or CNS, which are addictive stimulants that increase physical activity, mental awareness, and attention span. This dangerous concoction created a volatile reaction in the test subjects, and all these effects were further enhanced, or shall we say, exacerbated by the inclusion of a mysterious X-factor ingredient that increased the drug's potency. So according to the military experiment, a person had to be injected with 3 doses of Venom for the procedure to be completed. But everyone except Bane perished after the first dose itself because of the sheer changes that the substance made to the subject's tissue and muscles. Which brings us to our next entry. How does Venom work in Bane's body? So a typical AAS works just as any other drug, that is, by changing the physical chemistry of the subject. However, the extent may vary depending on the potency of the drug. In the case of Venom, the drug travels through the bloodstream to reach muscle tissue, where androgen receptors interact with muscle cells, and the DNA itself of these cells gets changed to stimulate an accelerated synthesis of protein. As a result, the tissue fiber gets thicker and stronger.
So basically what they're saying, he basically just took steroids. Not any different than what bodybuilders do.
After taking the first dose of Venom, his muscle mass increased by 30%, and it's no less of a miracle that he survived what he did. It was only possible because he had trained his body to withstand pain and exhaustion. Once the procedure was finished, Bane stood at a massive 6'8" and weighed around 425 pounds, with the potential of lifting around 15 tons of mass with little to no effort. But the effects wore off every 12 hours, so Bane has to pump the drug directly into his brain. Failing to do so, he can go into a fatal and sudden withdrawal. Not only would he lose his physical superiority, he could also pass away from a systemic shock. However, there have to be side effects, right? If not, the continuous use of Venom should keep pumping Bane's muscles. But somehow his body has learned to maintain equilibrium and curb the unchecked growth of his muscles. Furthermore, the sudden increase in his body mass should practically create internal vulnerabilities, forcing his vascular and skeletal systems to work overtime beyond the limit. But it is possible that Venom mutated his DNA to enable his body to survive.
Look, his speed, his ferocity, his training. I see the power of belief.
Peace has cost you your strength. Victory has defeated you.
How does Bane's brain work? So that was about his physiology, but what about his brain and psychology? So we know that the human brain functions and communicates through electrical signals. The neurons pass information down their axons in the form of electrical pulses, which are then shot to the chemical neurotransmitter of the neighboring brain cell. Venom seems to have supercharged Bane's brain so much that the neurons multiplied and created an extensive network of neural pathways. Bane's modulatory neurotransmitters are now capable of firing as fast as his inhibitory and excitatory transmitters, the time measured in milliseconds. When under the influence of Venom, Bane's cerebral hardware reconfigures itself in ways the human brain was never meant to do, allowing him to now process massive amounts of data with remarkable ease and speed.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Why does Bane wear a mask? After Bane's surgery, he needed a constant supply of venom to his brain, so implants were placed inside his skull to fulfill the need, becoming the perfect version of himself. Bane escaped the prison with a bunch of inmates who served in various capacities. One of them was in fact the science guy. This man named Bird used his connections to secure false identities, and another named Trog was an expert in electronics and pharmaceuticals. Trog created a portable device that did the job by sending venom to Bane's skull implants, and the mask was created to presumably give Bane a more intimidating outlook, as well as to hide some of the injuries and scars caused by the implants. This was a very crucial device for Bane because now he could take his shots of venom anywhere and wasn't required to return to any facility to get his dose, and that too twice a day. In Dark Knight Rises, there was a small scene between Bane and Batman that hinted at something similar.
If I pull that off, will you die?
It would be extremely painful
You're a big guy.
for you.
Here it seems that the mask served as the device that pumped venom and some anesthetic gas that kept his pain at bay. He most likely sustained serious injuries while trying to protect Talia from the pit's prisoners. Additionally, the suit that Bane fashioned is aimed at hiding the scars of the back injury he received while protecting Talia. What could happen to Bane if he OD'd on?
That's the best series. 90s Batman animated series. Who voiced Batman was Kevin Conroy. Rest in peace.
Venom. An overdose of venom could lead to a dangerous increase in Bane's strength, causing him to lose control of his own power and potentially harm himself and those around him. It could also cause a rapid heart rate, high blood pressure, seizures, respiratory failure, and other life-threatening complications. Despite being an efficiently synthesized drug, the human body cannot really tolerate its effect for an extended period of time. Apart from the side effects I just mentioned, Bane would practically become a raging, violent, uncontrollable, and unthinking animal, at least until the effects of the venom over his dose wore off. That is how tenuous the drug would be for his sanity. Needless to say, the overdose would also give Bane immense strength. Furthermore, the atrophian process during a withdrawal would be equally violent and rapid, with results ranging from brutal to deadly. But no matter what happens, it seems that it would be extremely difficult for Bane to quit abusing venom. There have been instances in the comics in which people have managed to ditch the additions of venom, but those people did not abuse venom in the manner Bane has done over the years.
My mother named me Talia before she was killed. The way I would have been killed if not for my protector.
Can Bane reproduce? Well, Bane is a human, so of course he can reproduce. But the question is, can he reproduce after being injected with all that venom? I mean, drug abusers often lose the capacity to reproduce, and more importantly, he would need a mate for reproduction, or at least for natural reproduction. And Bane is quite intimidating as a person. However, he once did open up his heart to a young woman named Spencer, written by Gail Simone and Jim. In the story arc Secret Six, Bane becomes romantically involved with Spencer, whom he met through other Secret Six members named Scandal and Liana. Despite Bane's initial awkwardness on their first date, he develops a genuine romantic interest in Spencer and opens up about his past. However, Bane realizes that this emotional connection, including his relationship with Spencer, could be a distraction from his ultimate goal of defeating Batman and taking over the city. Bane ultimately decides that love is a weakness, and he chooses to prioritize his goals over his relationship with Spencer. This leads to a tragic moment for Bane, as he misses out on a potential opportunity for personal growth and redemption. That being said, the two of them do share a night together, but Bane is no Wolverine, and his one-night stand did not result in a baby, or at least Spencer's arc was not touched upon by later writers. But does it mean that Bane never really had a child? Yes, he did. So Bane's daughter, named Vengeance, was introduced in the Joker limited series, and turned out to be a very interesting wild card with a pretty grim backstory. Vengeance was not a natural product, but was created in the secret lab in Santa Prisca as part of a military project by Santa Prisca's military government. The project aimed to create a new kind of soldier by genetically engineering and raising children to be living weapons. As a matter of fact, Bane himself was a product of this program, and his hatred for Batman was instilled in him as part of his programming. But Bane's intellect and sheer will helped him in evading the effects of this brainwashing, at least to an extent. Vengeance was created using Bane's DNA, and she grew up with the knowledge that her purpose was to fight Santa Prisca's enemies, including the likes of Joker. However, she was unaware of her true origins and believed that Bane was her biological father.
We need a solo Bane origin story. Just saying.
It wasn't until after Bane's alleged death that Vengeance was sent on a mission to hunt down the Joker, who was responsible for A-Day, a catastrophic event that destroyed part of Gotham City. Wondering what the hell A-Day is? Well, the A-Day is basically an annual celebration in Gotham to commemorate the day when Arkham Asylum was first opened. There's a huge pomp and show, and they organize a parade that features various floats and characters from Gotham's criminal underworld, including some of Batman's most notorious villains. During her pursuit of the Joker, Vengeance once discovered a file that revealed the truth about her origins and the Bane project. She learned that her hatred for the Joker was also programmed into her and that she was created to be a living weapon, capable of taking down some of DC's universe's most fearsome foes. Upon learning the truth, Vengeance went rogue, killing her fellow Santa Prisca soldiers and offering to kill the Joker for Gordon. She believed that this way she was giving herself some degree of control over what she wanted to do. So essentially, Vengeance is a kind of like the X-23 of the DC universe.
I broke you. How have you come back? The shadow is betrayed.
Is Bane stronger than Batman without Venom? Batman and his character traits are what makes him one of the most loved heroes out there. He has an essence or a soul of substance that is retold throughout artwork and storytelling that would be hard to reproduce anywhere else for characters that aren't linked to anything or anyone. He's our modern version of legends and myths. One of the reasons people like Batman so much is that he's grounded in reality, at least as far as superheroes go. His superheroism is utterly human, all without superpowers or enhancements. It is his ability to distinguish between right and wrong that distinguishes him as a superhero, not his flashy gadgets or lack of superpowers. Apart from that, Batman has mastered 127 different styles of martial arts. I bet we cannot even name them all. And Batman is rich. He's super rich. And he's intelligent. Like, super intelligent. So that's only the tip of the iceberg of who Batman really is. Coming to Bane, yes, our big guy had a lot of issues growing up and he saw some really terrible times. During his days in solitary confinement, he was put in a room that would flood at night because of the tides and he would have to swim through the night to remain alive. This made him extremely resilient and he went on to read a lot, become an expert strategist, etc. But does that mean that he can take on Batman without Venom? I don't think so. I understand that there are very few people who can defeat Bane on one-on-one combat, but
Man, I used to collect comic books. I had like a whole box of comic books. I got rid of them. I wish I would have kept them.
come on, Batman is way more skilled, dedicated, and smarter than Bane. Some would argue that Bane managed to defeat Batman and break his back in their first encounter. He also deduced Batman's real identity within 3 months. Okay, I'll give you that one, but at the end of the day, Batman is still alive, is he not? Bane couldn't kill Batman even with all the doses of venom. But feel free to let me know what you think about that question.
Where's my damn money?
Is Bane immortal? I think we already know the answer to this one, but it has seldom been confirmed in the comics. However, there are at least 3 instances where Bane has actually died. In the comics, Bane was killed in 2021 in issue 0 of the Infinite Frontier story arc. It is one shot issue that serves as a prologue to DC's Infinite Frontier initiative, which aims to bring together various characters and storylines from across the DC universe. In the one shot, the Joker's toxin has once again been released, and it's killing people left, right, and center at the Arkham Asylum. A guard named Mahoney gets on a routine check only to find that Batman, the neck-crushing, back-breaking villain, has died, along with several of the guards. But this Joker toxin doesn't really put a smile on the face of those who inhale it. In the game Batman Arkham Origins, players experience an ethical quandary in which they can either prevent Joker from committing suicide using the electric chair, or they must kill Bane as Batman. Ultimately, Batman kills Bane, but revives him a few seconds later, proving that Batman can, in fact, kill Bane, even if it is for just a few seconds. But I suppose the most gruesome of Bane's death happens in The Dark Knight Rises, when Selina Kyle kills Bane. Clearly, Bane is a force to be reckoned with, and that's irrespective of him.
I didn't care for her playing Catwoman. Dark Knight Rises. Whoever played her, I didn't care for it. I didn't care for her.
Being high on venom. The thing that I absolutely love about most DC characters is that they are grounded in some degree of science. Of course, I'm not talking about the likes of Wonder Woman, Superman, and Darkseid. However, characters such as Bane, Joker, Riddler, and Batman are very believable, and their actions are based on real-life events. Let's take Venom, for instance. Stuff like methamphetamine and PCP do give the user a sense of euphoria and invincibility. But once again, it's important to note that the use of these drugs is highly illegal and dangerous and can have serious health consequences. And if you liked our content, then please do not forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.
Alright, man. Go to Marvelous Videos. Check their stuff out. They have a lot of good videos. And please go to my channel, subscribe, hit the ding-a-ling for more notifications. Otherwise, then that's you on the flip.